So for the first part, explain in detail the concept of organizational structure. So basically, an organizational structure is how the business runs from top down. With this, different tasks are assigned to different individuals or different departments within that, and those departments are going to be stemmed down from the top. So you'll have something like your president, and then from there you'll have like a vice president, and it'll just keep going down and down. Um, and basically, that's how the company is going to work. That's how the company is going to sort of have different relationships with people, and sort of coordinate with each other and work on their own individual parts and report to the people who are above them. Um, basically, um, this can be very unique to individual businesses because um, different people can have, or different companies can have organizational structures or the charts or whatever that we looked at that span out more wider, or we can have more that are more narrow and tall like that. So the division of labor is going to be a lot different depending on which business, which industry you're in. And it also depends on how the president wants to run things. Sometimes they want to run things with multiple directors, or a few directors. It all depends on how everything goes along and how everything's gonna work together for your business. So there is a chain of command when it comes to the organizational structure. So it's like who you're going to report to, and it's basically the next one up. Instead of reporting to the highest one, you're going to report to the person who's above you. So explain the difference between power and authority. So the difference between power and authority is basically power is having control over people, whether they like it or not. You can tell them what to do, and they have to do it no matter what you say. Authority is basically the legitimate sort of like a formal type deal where you can influence people. You have that legitimate ability to influence people and the decisions that they make and kind of guide them in the right path. So power is more about controlling and having things done your way, versus authority is having the ability to influence someone. So there's a big importance between those two. These are significant because, when you have someone who just worries about power, basically a lot of the times people aren't going to like it, because you can tell, there's a difference between power and authority. If you have someone who has power over you, you're most likely not going to like them. You're not going to want to work for them, because there's nothing you can do. Versus authority, if someone has authority, they're going to be more approachable when it comes to the decisions that they tell you to do. And a lot of it comes down to respect, I think, too. With authority, you are more likely to respect that person rather than someone who has just straight up power over you. And it ultimately creates a better work environment. Discuss several of the approaches to structure we covered in class. So there are multiple approaches when it comes to sort of the structures. And there's functional, divisional, matrix, team, and virtual network. So a lot of these have their own individual advantages and disadvantages. For functional, one advantage is efficient use of resources, economies of scale, but on the other hand, poor communication across functional departments. Divisional is fast, flexible, that's big when it's in an unstable environment. However, less technological depth and specialization within the divisions. So basically, the functional structure is grouping of activities by common function from the bottom to the top of the organization. Positions are grouped together on similar skills, expertise, and work activities. Divisional focuses company activities on local market conditions. Basically, they're grouped together based off of similar organizational outputs. So then there's the matrix approach. This basically combines both functional and divisional. This can improve coordination and information. There's dual authority structure in a matrix, but this can be tough because I know we talked about it in class. When you have two bosses, who do you report to? One boss could say something and another boss could say something else, and then you're stuck in the middle of what do I do? So that can cause some problems sometimes. That's definitely something you're going to want to avoid. Then there's team approach. So for team approach, consists of employees from various functional departments who are responsible to meet as a team and basically work together through that. This is more leaning towards working together rather than reporting to the person who's above you. And then there's a virtual network approach. Basically, the firm subcontracts most of its major functions to separate companies and coordinates. So you'd have like a central hub, and then from there, you'd subcontract your designers or your human resources and stuff like that. And you can do that based off of different geographical locations. So that can be good because it's worldwide, different expertise from around the world. Some countries are better in certain areas than other countries, so it could definitely help with that. But that's everything that we looked at for chapter 10, the relationship between structure and strategy. Basically, structure is how it is going to be laid out, who you have to report to and stuff, and strategy is how you go about that. Does it flow? Does it make sense like that? But yeah, so that's everything for chapter 10.